Ozempic, semaglutide, it's kind of taken the nation and the world by storm here in the weight loss communities. It has left a lot of people wondering, one, if you're wanting to get on the medication, is this medication going to work for me? What happens if I don't lose weight on the medication? A lot of people they don't want to just enter into something like this lightly because it is a medical therapy. Or you're on the medication and you're like, shoot, man, now you're talking my language because I'm stuck. And a lot of what I'm going to talk about today has to do with testing. It's looking deeper into your biology so we can objectively, meaning what we can see on paper, what's happening with blood work. We call it functional medicine blood work. I'm going to show you what I did with a patient. I'm going to give you a really great example of some very basic minimalistic labs that I did with somebody recently. Typically, my panels that I run are actually much more elaborate than what I'm going to show you, but I ran this panel with an individual lately that just wanted a reduced panel. The results were phenomenal in that it gave so much insight into why she was not currently losing weight. And I could just show you right now why someone would get absolutely stuck if they were on Ozempic and they had this problem set that I'm going to share with you in today's lab review. What you're going to see in here are some very, very large concerns that would absolutely hold someone back from losing weight. Okay, as we dive in here, keep in mind this is a 42-year-old female. She was struggling with weight gain, just having a lot of difficulty losing weight, meaning that the things that used to work for her in the past to lose weight, in terms of diet and exercise, were just not working anymore. She felt like she was hitting a brick wall, wanting to consider Ozempic and get started on it, or semaglutide and get started on it, and get set up with an action plan going forward. So I'm going to go review the labs plus my battle plan. Check out this panel. All right, y'all, here I am. Try not to cut off my head here on this report, and I don't want to block out all of the reference range here. All right, so we kick things off with the complete metabolic panel. Why do we run a complete metabolic panel? It gives us a very, very comprehensive look at how somebody's snapshot blood glucose looks. In this case, it looks great. This is a fasting. Keep in mind, this is a fasting blood glucose. We really want to see this between 70 and 85. Anything over that would suggest that there is insulin resistance taking place. But we are going to look at several other blood sugar attributes here in a moment that can also identify insulin resistance. Keep in mind that your doctor's probably going to run this, just your regular run-of-the-mill practitioner, and this is where things get missed. So this patient passes the first test. We look through the rest of the panel. It evaluates kidneys and liver function. It evaluates protein and some electrolytes here. Everything looks fairly normal to me. I always look at GFR to make sure it's not below 90. That usually just means that the person's not drinking enough water if that's the case, and we need enough water while on semaglutide or GLP-1 medications to help aid in the weight loss process. If you're not drinking enough water, it's easy to actually plateau. I don't see that to be a problem here. BUN creatinine ratio, a little low here on that, but this is actually a normal finding. AST, ALT, these are our liver enzymes that we take a very close look at because when blood sugar goes high, these get hit and we start to develop fatty liver. I see that in probably about 30% of patients that I work with. These start to drive up. What we're looking for here is to keep things below 30. Okay, so far she's really passing the complete metabolic test, which is just kind of the most fundamental thing we need to check initially. Then we see a lot of red here. Her CBC shows that she's basically just low in red blood cells, low in hemoglobin, low hematocrit. She's got anemia going on here. And I'm just going to skip right to the punchline. Her iron saturation is a low. That's one of the, I haven't seen that in a long time, where they put the double L, meaning it's severely low. Ferritin, which is iron storage, is also severely low. So imagine if you have this going on in the body, your body is not really going to be super concentrated on losing weight, fighting fat cells, ramping up metabolism. Your body is barely going to be able to function because you need iron at the end of the day. We have an iron deficiency anemia happening here, which is how our body carries oxygen to cells. Now, oxygen obviously is needed for just about every cellular process that I can think of, just about. And so because of that, weight loss can be very dependent on it. Vitality is going to be important on this. Energy is going to be dependent on this. So we need to correct these types of imbalances first. With this type of severe iron deficiency anemia, we need to think of a number of things. So one, make sure they're not losing a bunch of blood during menses. If that's the case, we need to figure out that hormone imbalance. That was really not the case here. I don't believe this patient's periods were too crazy heavy, but diet can become a concern. If the person's not eating enough iron, that could be very problematic. We need to change their diet. So if vegans, vegetarians, if this is you and your labs are looking like this, we need to be able to figure out how we can get you enough iron in place of the red meat. Third, and probably most important here, this is the most relevant thing to the patient that I saw. I believe that this patient was more on option number 3, which would have been a poor digestion scenario. Okay, so poor digestion meaning that if you have leaky gut, if there's a lot of inflammation in the digestive system, it's very easy for iron to just simply not be absorbed. Now you pair that with menses, and you pair that with maybe perhaps not getting enough iron in the diet, now all of a sudden you have a large problem. I will admit this is fairly severe. I would recommend severe, like a all hands on deck digestive repair protocol, which I run with my clients. It usually involves some sort of digestive repair, different formulas, some advanced testing, typically probiotics, a quality refrigerated probiotic, and lots of nutritional intervention and guidance from myself and my nutrition team. This is a huge explainer why this patient was in the state that they were in. And imagine this person starts Ozempic or semaglutide and they get stuck. This would be a clear and easy reason why. Now, below this, we have a TSH, free T3, and free T4. This is a nice little thyroid panel. What we don't see here are thyroid antibodies, which I would almost always run. We didn't run it here for the patient because they were concerned about cost. For everyone in a standard panel, that would be included. Because remember, if there's any impairment in your thyroid, we immediately want to know why. And here, the T3 is below 3. My criteria as a physician with my patients is to treat patients with NP thyroid or thyroid hormone when I start to see this TSH creep up, which it's not, or an underperforming thyroid here with the T3. I'd almost always treat with thyroid hormone here, even if it's in the short term, just to boost things up, which is what I actually recommended to this patient. Keep in mind that it's impossible for the thyroid to function well and to get good conversion from inactive T3 to or inactive T4 to free T3, which is what controls your metabolic rate. It's impossible for this system to function well without iron. So immediately we can go root cause on it and establish, hey, your thyroid is really, really in a rough spot right now. It's likely because your ferritin's a 4 and there's no iron storage, and your thyroid is reliant on iron to function. Numero uno here, we want to boost iron up for the patient. I would consider 4 to 6 months of thyroid hormone just to boost that metabolic rate up quickly. I feel like with weight loss and in health in general, I'm all about speed as a doctor. I'm all for the root cause approach here, which is treating the iron, but temporarily supplementing some thyroid hormone. I really like NP thyroid, can be extremely valuable for a patient just in terms of their healing, accelerating that, and then getting them off the medication within about 4 to 6 months. It tends to be a good time frame to take someone off the thyroid hormone. It could even be sooner, but basically we just want to restore that metabolic rate as fast as we can. Next here, keep in mind this is a limited panel. We do have a progesterone and estrogen. I don't see a testosterone on here. The patient elected not to have the testosterone done, but I do feel testosterone is extremely important, as it is one of the 3 major hormones produced by the ovaries, and we can see dysfunction in one of the others here. So estrogen, this is a mid-cycle draw, day 19 to day 21. And so what we find here is that estradiol is in a fairly normal place for this part of the month here within ovulation. However, the progesterone is quite low. In fact, it's as low as it can read. It says 0.1, but it says that's as low as the lab can read, and it says less than 0.1, which means this woman is unfortunately just not producing any progesterone at the assumed time of the month where it should actually be the highest. And if we look at a curve, and I'll pull up a curve here, of when progesterone should be highest, day 19 to day 21 within the cycle, you can see that peak there, then it drops down, and then it should go to a low, and that stimulates a woman's period to start. This patient has some hormonal imbalance here. We would call that estrogen dominance. Question for you. Can this system recover? The answer is absolutely yes. If we're able to get the thyroid working well, if we're able to get the iron doing well, if we're able to reverse insulin resistance, because if you want to think, okay, what's the root cause of this hormonal dysfunction? It's likely insulin resistance plus the fact that all these other things are out of whack, okay? If we're able to correct those things, this could come back online. In the interim, I would recommend just a low dose progesterone here before bedtime to help sleep, because guess what? We need to be able to sleep to lose weight. We need to be able to sleep to heal. That's when our growth hormones produce. That's when we're going to be having the bulk of our recovery. Last part of the panel here, you guys, we have a hemoglobin A1C of 5.3. This is an average blood sugar. And that means is why it's a 3-month average blood sugar is this is the exposure of sugar to a red blood cell in a 3-month long period. And we know that red blood cells live for roughly 90 days. And so that's how we're able to measure this sugar exposure. And we know that 5.3 is a little on the higher end. Okay, it's not severe, but we know that there's likely a little bit of insulin resistance here. Also, this is a fasting insulin blood draw. Anything above a 5 here for their insulin levels does indicate insulin resistance. So our target for this patient is going to be to get her insulin down below 5. I would recommend a GLP-1 therapy in the short term, probably 4 or 5 months or so, to help this patient lose, I believe it was around 30 pounds that she was interested in losing. Get this under 5, get this hemoglobin back down closer to a 5 as well, and that would be super helpful. Lastly here, we just have a lipid panel. I usually run much more advanced metabolic testing, taking a look at different lipid profiles, apolipoprotein B, lipoprotein fractionation, fancy words. But we can see here that her triglycerides are under 100, which is great. This is typically going to be seen in people that do keto or low carb. If you're haven't been watching your carbs, this is going to likely shoot up. Or if you're drinking a lot of alcohol, this will shoot up. And then we got about 9% too high here on her LDL. That means that she's got some dietary intolerance. Probably eating some things that she shouldn't be eating in terms of processed foods. I really like to pick on dairy, legumes. I also like to pick on nightshade vegetables. Those are all things that can drive this up in a hurry. When you think that everything's going well, when you think that everything's going right, you're trying your hardest to lose weight, and you still have those elements in the diet, that's where things go wrong. So I hope that this has been helpful for you guys. These labs give an awful lot of insight. You can see this isn't a very big lab panel, and now it might be robust compared to what your doctor actually runs for you every year just with these basic labs. But can you see all the valuable information that you would receive here? If these systems are offline, the likelihood of you losing weight, even on a GLP-1 medication, fall drastically. So I encourage you, get these things checked prior to starting a GLP-1. If you're stuck on a GLP-1, not losing weight, try to have your doctor do these. If they won't, which a lot of times they won't, guys, unfortunately, that's just the landscape that we live in with healthcare. Find a doctor like myself, and we can take care of you. So go ahead and like this video, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and always, leave a comment. It helps push this out to other people that need to see it. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you next week. Take care.